Lily thought she was living in a dream. After years of dating, Carlos had proposed on a golden California beach at sunset, the sound of waves crashing in harmony with her elated yes. She was finally planning the wedding she had envisioned since she was a little girl. The dress, the flowers, the venue, it would all be perfect. A celebration of their love. Okay, picture this. Strings of fairy lights, wildflowers everywhere, and maybe some jazz music playing during dinner. Simple, elegant, and totally us. Sounds amazing, Lily. It's your day. Well, technically our day, but you know what I mean. But her idyllic daydreams came crashing down just 3 days later. Rosa had invited Lily and Carlos over for coffee, but the atmosphere quickly turned heavy like the calm before a storm. Lily, I've been meaning to talk to you about the wedding. I'm sure you understand that in our family things are done a certain way. This wedding is no exception. Lily froze. She could feel the weight of Rosa's gaze, sharp and unrelenting. Of course, Rosa. I'd love to incorporate some of your family traditions. I really want our wedding to honor both of our cultures. It's more than just traditions. This is a family event. It's about bringing our community together, not just a celebration of you two. The whole family is expecting it to be done properly. Hesitant. I understand. And I want that too. But our wedding day is also about Carlos and me, and the things we love. The room felt stifling. For a split second, Lily thought she saw a shadow of disapproval cross Rosa's face. Coldly. Lily, if this wedding doesn't reflect our heritage, it will be seen as a rejection of who we are. You wouldn't want to start your marriage like that, would you? So, here's what I'm saying. Either you agree to follow our traditions completely venue, music, food, everything, or you can plan whatever wedding you want. But don't expect us to attend. Stammering. Wait, are you saying you won't come to the wedding if we do it differently? This is how it has to be. Our family has values, and I won't let them be disrespected. The choice is yours, Lily. A heavy silence filled the room. Lily's mind raced. How had the conversation taken such a turn? Her dream wedding, the one she'd envisioned since she was a little girl, suddenly felt like it was slipping through her fingers. She glanced at Carlos, desperate for his support, but he wouldn't even look her in the eye. It was in that moment that the realization hit her. She was on her own. Rosa's voice carried an air of finality as she placed her glass of wine down with a sharp clink. Lily, I've been thinking about the mariachi band. It's a good start, but it's nowhere near enough to truly represent the family. I don't want people walking away from this wedding thinking it was half-hearted. Lily hesitated, forcing a polite smile. I appreciate your input, Rosa. I really do. I've already made plans for the blessing ceremony, and we're excited about including those elements. But I also want to make sure the wedding feels like Carlos and me, our personalities, our interests. The words felt fragile as they left her lips, as if they could shatter at the slightest hint of dissent. Personalities? Interests? Lily, this isn't just about you two. It's about our community, our heritage, and what people will remember for generations. That's why the venue needs to change. The one you picked too modern, too impersonal, and those colors you chose? Pastels? They don't reflect us at all. Lily's heart sank, the words weighing heavy against her chest. She had spent months carefully selecting every detail, imagining a day filled with joy and love. Now, it felt like her vision was being rewritten by someone else. Softly, I thought Carlos and I could choose things that felt special to us. Her voice trembled slightly, but Rosa didn't seem to notice or care. You're marrying into this family, Lily. Not just Carlos. That means you need to respect the traditions that have been passed down for years. This wedding isn't just about your preferences. It's about honoring who we are. The tension in the room was palpable. Lily wanted to argue, to make her case, but the weight of Rosa's words and her unwavering glare left her feeling paralyzed. Then, as if the universe decided to test her, Rosa leaned forward, fixing Lily with a sharp gaze. You know, I've been thinking about the guest list too. Some of the people on your side, friends, colleagues, they're unfamiliar to the family. It might be better to keep it smaller, more intimate. Lily's eyes widened. The guest list had been one of the few areas she thought was safe from Rosa's interference. Stammering, "But Those are people who've supported me for years. I want them to be there. They're important to me. Rosa waved her hand dismissively, as though Lily's concerns were trivial. Important, maybe. But this day isn't really about them, is it? Carlos finally looked up, his voice quiet but strained. Mom, maybe we can find a way to balance things. I mean, it's Lily's day, too. Rosa turned to him sharply, her tone cutting through his words. Carlos, this is about family. Don't forget where you come from or what this wedding represents. Lily felt the sting of the comment, as though Rosa was deliberately drawing a line between her and them, more determined. Rosa, I respect your traditions. That's why I've worked so hard to include them. But this is my wedding, too. I want it to feel like us, not like something entirely dictated by someone else. Her voice cracked slightly, but she held Rosa's gaze, refusing to back down. Rosa's lips pressed into a thin line. You're being emotional, Lily. Weddings are about responsibility and legacy, not personal whims. I'm saying this for your own good. The words cut deeper than Lily expected. She glanced at Carlos again, praying for him to step in, hesitant. Maybe Lily's idea could work if... Interrupting. Carlos, stop. You know I'm right. In that moment, Lily realized something she had been avoiding. Carlos wasn't ready to stand up to his mother. Not yet. And that left her feeling completely alone. Lily stared down at her hands, tracing the lines on her palm as if searching for answers. The weight of Rosa's interference had become unbearable, and Carlos's silence only deepened the cracks forming in her resolve. She felt trapped, torn between her dreams and a family she wasn't sure she'd ever fully belong to. Okay, enough. You can't keep letting her bulldoze you like this. Lily looked up, her voice barely audible. What else can I do, Priya? Every time I try to stand up for myself, it just falls apart. Carlos doesn't even back me up. Priya's eyes softened for a moment, but only briefly. Then, with the sharpness of someone who refused to let her best friend drown in self-pity, she spoke firmly. Listen, you're smart, creative, and capable of handling this. Rosa is only winning because you're letting her dictate the rules. It's time to change the game. Lily tilted her head, her brow furrowing. What do you mean? Priya smirked, tapping the edge of her laptop. We're going to make a list. Every single thing you want for this wedding non-negotiable. Then, we're going to set boundaries. Clear ones. If Rosa tries to cross them again, you'll have a plan to hold your ground. For the first time in weeks, Lily felt a flicker of hope. You think that'll work? She's relentless. Relentless only works if you don't push back. Trust me, you've got this. Now, let's start with the venue. Have you locked it in yet? Lily hesitated before nodding. Yeah? It's a garden venue just outside the city. I fell in love with it the moment I saw it. But if Rosa? Priya cut her off with a wave of her hand. Nope, stop right there. That venue is your dream, right? Lily nodded again. Then we protect it. This is your wedding, Lily. Yours and Carlos's, not hers. The next few hours flew by in a blur of brainstorming and strategizing. For the first time in days, Lily felt like she had some control. Priya's confidence was infectious, and Lily clung to it like a lifeline. But as the night wore on, a storm was already brewing on the other side of town. Yes, I understand, but it's for the best. The venue they chose? It's impractical. Not to mention far too small for our family. I've already found a better option. She paused, listening to the voice on the other end. No, don't mention this to Carlos or Lily yet. I'll handle it. Trust me. They'll thank me later when they see how beautiful it is. Rosa ended the call, her lips curving into a satisfied smile. She believed she was protecting her family's legacy, preserving something precious. But to Lily, it would feel like betrayal. Yeah, Rosa's been calling everyone. She's talking about this new venue she supposedly booked already. Wait, she didn't tell you? Lily's stomach dropped. What? No, she didn't. She can't just... Her words caught in her throat as anger and hurt surged through her. Ending the call abruptly, she sank onto the edge of the couch, her heart pounding. At the next family gathering, Rosa's intentions became glaringly clear. Everyone, I have an announcement. I've taken the liberty of booking a new venue for the wedding. It's much more suitable for our family. Trust me, it's perfect." The room fell silent. All eyes turned to Lily, whose face burned with a mix of humiliation and fury. "You booked a new venue? Without even asking us?" Rosa's expression didn't falter. "Lily, you'll understand eventually. I'm doing this for you. For the family." Lily's voice trembled, but this time, it wasn't fear, it was rage. "No, you're doing it for yourself." Carlos had spent the whole night replaying this scene in his head, his mother's declaration at the family gathering, Lily's trembling voice, her flushed face, the way she avoided his eyes as they drove home in silence. He had never seen her so visibly broken. The weight of the situation was crashing down on him, and for the first time, he couldn't ignore it. "How did we even get here? Why can't they just get along?" He sighed heavily, his shoulders slumping as he reached for his phone. There was one person he knew he could talk to, someone who had been through this before. "Carlos? This is unexpected. What's going on?" I need your advice, Nat. About Mom. And Lily." Natalia straightened up, setting her mug on the coffee table. "Oh boy. What did she do this time?" Carlos hesitated, his voice thick with guilt. "She booked a new venue. Without telling us. Without telling Lily." Natalia let out a low whistle. "Wow. Classic Mom. And you're caught in the middle as usual?" "It's more than that, Natalia. Lily's furious. She feels like I'm not on her side. And honestly, I don't know if I've been. I keep thinking, this is just how Mom is. But maybe that's not okay anymore." Natalia's eyes softened, a hint of sadness creeping into her voice. "You know, Carlos, I've been there. Remember when I got married? Mom refused to accept that we didn't want a church wedding. She guilt-tripped me for weeks, saying I was disrespecting her faith, her traditions. I caved. I thought it would make her happy. But you know what? It didn't. She just found something else to control." Carlos swallowed hard, her words hitting too close to home. "So what am I supposed to do? She's my mom, Nat. I can't just shut her out." "You don't have to shut her out. But you do have to set boundaries. Mom's not going to stop unless you make her. And if you don't stand up for Lily now, you're going to lose her. Trust me, no one can live like that forever." Carlos sat down next to Lily, leaving a careful distance between them. She didn't look at him. "Lily, can we talk?" She shrugged, her gaze fixed on the TV. "What's there to talk about, Carlos? Your mom's made it clear what this wedding is to her. And honestly, I don't know if I can do this anymore. If I can marry into this." Carlos's chest tightened. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I get it. I do. And I'm sorry, Lily. I should have stood up for you. For us. I've just been so scared of disappointing her, of causing a rift in the family, but I can't keep letting her steamroll over our lives." Lily finally turned to face him, her eyes brimming with a mix of anger and sadness. "Do you mean that, Carlos? Because it's not just about this wedding. It's about every time she undermines me, or makes me feel like I don't belong in your family. I need to know that you have my back. Not just now, but always." Carlos nodded firmly, his voice steady. "You're right. You're absolutely right. Natalia helped me see that this isn't just about Mom. It's about what kind of marriage we want. And I want a marriage where we're a team, Lily. Starting now, I'm going to talk to her. Set some boundaries. I promise." Lily searched his face, looking for sincerity. Slowly, she nodded. "Okay, but you need to do more than talk, Carlos. You need to show me that you mean it." "I will. I swear I will." The moment Lily had been dreading and preparing for had finally arrived. She glanced at the faces surrounding her, her heart pounding but her expression steady. This wasn't just a meeting about a wedding. It was a battle for her voice, her place in this family, and most importantly, her marriage. "Thank you all for agreeing to this. I know things have been tense, and I want to make sure we clear the air." Rosa raised a skeptical eyebrow, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Clear the air? Lily, this isn't about tension. It's about respect. Respect for our family's traditions and the way things should be done." Lily bristled but kept her voice calm. I understand how important those traditions are to you, Rosa. Honestly, I've tried to honor them. The mariachi band, the blessing ceremony. All of it was my way of showing that I respect your culture. Rosa leaned forward, her tone sharp. Then why stop there? Why not have the entire wedding reflect our values? You're marrying into our times, family, after all. Carlos shifted uncomfortably, avoiding Lily's gaze. Natalia, however, cleared her throat, her eyes narrowing slightly at their mother. Mom, I think what Lily is saying is that this wedding should reflect both her and Carlos, not just one side. Isn't that fair? Rosa waved her hand dismissively, her frustration spilling over. Fair? You think it's fair for her to ignore generations of tradition? To disrespect everything this family stands for? Lily felt her patience slipping. Her voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but with the effort of holding back tears. Disrespect? Rosa, that's not what this is about. I'm not trying to erase your family's traditions. I'm trying to times them with mine. Marriage is a partnership. It's not about one voice drowning out the other. Rosa scoffed, but Natalia cut in before she could speak, her voice firm but measured. Mom, do you hear yourself? You're making this wedding all about you. Don't you remember how it felt when Abuela did the same to you for your wedding? Rosa's face softened for a brief moment, but she quickly masked it with indignation. That was different. She had her reasons, and I bet it didn't feel fair to you back then, did it? You're doing the same thing to Lily now. Rosa, I want us to have a good relationship. I really do. But this wedding isn't just about you or even about tradition. It's about me and Carlos starting our lives together. I love him, and I want our wedding to be a reflection of who we are as a couple. That means there have to be boundaries. The word boundaries seemed to hang in the air like a storm cloud. Rosa's eyes narrowed, and for a moment Lily thought she might storm out. But Rosa stayed, her face unreadable. Boundaries. Her voice was low, almost a whisper, but it carried a weight that made everyone pause. Mom, Lily's right. I've been quiet for too long, trying to keep the peace, but it's only made things worse. This wedding isn't just yours to plan. It's ours. Lily and I deserve to make decisions together, without feeling like we're failing you. For a long moment, the room was silent. The only sound the faint creak of the couch as Rosa shifted her weight. Then, she spoke, her voice softer but still tinged with resistance. You both make it sound so simple, like I haven't spent my entire life fighting to keep our traditions alive. It's not easy to let go. Natalia reached over and placed a hand on her mother's arm, her voice gentle. No one's asking you to let go entirely, Mom. Just to trust us. Trust that we care about this family as much as you do. Lily and Carlos aren't trying to erase anything, they're just writing their own chapter. Though Rosa didn't say anything more, that small nod felt like the first crack in the wall that had stood between them for so long. The wedding day had finally arrived, and though the air shimmered with celebration, an undercurrent of tension lingered. Lily had spent the morning bouncing between moments of joy and apprehension, unsure of how Rosa might behave. Every detail of the day reflected careful compromise, yet Rosa's reaction remained the wild card. Breathe, Lily. You've got this. No matter what happens, today is about celebrating you and Carlos. Lily nodded, though her heart raced. Her reflections stared back at her stronger than she felt. It's just, I don't know if Rosa really accepted anything we talked about. What if she decides to make another scene? And if she does, you'll handle it with grace. Look at everything you've overcome to get here. Remember, you're not alone in this. Hey, I know it's bad luck to see the bride before the ceremony, but I couldn't wait. You look perfect. You're not supposed to be here, but thank you. His voice softened as he took her hands. Lily, no matter what happens out there, today is ours. I'll be right by your side. The sincerity in his voice steadied her. The ceremony began without a hitch. Lily's father walked her down the aisle to soft guitar music, a nod to Carlos's heritage. As vows were exchanged, the world seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them, bound by promises and love. But it wasn't until the reception that the true surprise unfolded. The dinner was in full swing when Rosa stood suddenly, her fork clinking against her wineglass. The room fell silent as all eyes turned toward her. I wasn't planning to speak today, but there's something I need to say. Lily froze. Her breath caught. This was the moment she dreaded. She reached for Carlos's hand under the table, her grip tightening. When Lily first came into our lives, I didn't see her for who she really was. I only saw someone who wasn't like us, who didn't understand our ways, and I tried to control things, thinking I was protecting my family. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Rosa's voice wavered, but she pressed on. But I was wrong. I didn't see how much love she has for Carlos, and how much effort she's made to honor our traditions while staying true to herself. That takes strength, and I wasn't willing to see it until now. So, I want to say something I haven't said enough. Lily, I am sorry. Sorry for making you feel like you didn't belong. And I am proud of you both. Proud that you've stood strong as a couple, even when I made it hard. You've shown me what love really looks like. A collective silence enveloped the room, broken only by the faint sound of sniffles. For a moment, Lily sat frozen, overwhelmed. Then, she stood, meeting Rosa's gaze. Without a word, she took Rosa's hands, squeezing them tightly. Thank you, Rosa. That means more than you know. From that moment on, the night transformed. Laughter, dancing, and heartfelt toasts filled the air, bridging the gap that had once seemed insurmountable. For the first time, it truly felt like a celebration of two families coming together. Looking back on everything that happened, it feels unreal. The weeks leading up to the wedding were some of the hardest I've ever faced. There were moments when I felt completely alone, moments when I wondered if I was making a mistake. But as I sit here today, next to my husband, I realize that those struggles taught me more than I could have imagined. I didn't just learn how to plan a wedding, I learned how to stand up for myself. I learned that standing my ground doesn't mean I have to be confrontational, it means knowing my worth and refusing to compromise on what's important to me. One of the biggest lessons I learned is that communication isn't just about talking, it's about listening, even when it's hard. In the beginning, I couldn't understand Rosa's perspective. Her demands felt overwhelming, like she was trying to take over my wedding. But as things unfolded, I realized that her actions weren't just about control. They were about love, her love for Carlos, her love for her culture, and her fear of losing something meaningful in the process. It wasn't easy, but once I opened myself up to understanding her, the dynamics started to shift. It didn't happen overnight, and it didn't mean agreeing to everything she wanted. But it did mean finding ways to honor her traditions while still staying true to who I am. Carlos and I also learned something crucial about our relationship. For a long time, he struggled to see how his family's expectations were affecting me. I felt invisible, like my voice didn't matter. But when we finally sat down and had an honest conversation, no blaming, no yelling, everything changed. For the first time, I saw him truly hear me. He told me he felt torn between his love for me and his loyalty to his family, and I realized that he was navigating his own emotional challenges just as I was. I'll admit, there were moments when I didn't handle things the way I should have. But seeing how strong you were, how you balanced everything with grace, it made me want to be better, for both of us. In the end, what saved our wedding and our relationship was teamwork. We stopped thinking of Rosa as the enemy and started seeing her as part of the family we were building together. It wasn't easy to find that balance, but we did it. And Rosa? She surprised me. Her apology during the reception wasn't something I ever expected, but it showed me how much she had grown too. For the first time, it felt like we were on the same side. Today, our relationship isn't perfect, and honestly, I don't think perfection is the goal. But there's respect, and that's something I never thought we'd have. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that family isn't about agreeing on everything. It's about finding ways to coexist, even when your values clash. It's about compromise, but it's also about standing strong in who you are. We hope our story inspires you to face your own family challenges with courage and compassion. Whether you're planning a wedding, starting a new chapter, or simply trying to navigate life's twists and turns, remember that finding harmony takes time, but it's always worth it.